Sanmarani Rimerang Action. Welcome to it. It is the Ringos Podcast. Guess who's back?
Wow.
And you want me to do the intro. That's Dalangen's intro for 2 seasons now.
Yeah, man, I've been away. The Native Church is back on the Ringos Podcast. Welcome to it. It's another episode where we get to get an in-depth review of all the roses of Etembisa. And in this episode, it's no different. I'll be doing it along Sonchikasi, the renowned TV star, songwriter, singer, and everything. And in our midst, we have one of the greatest legends, Ekasi.
Yeah,
one of the greatest legends, Ekasi. Me, I know him as Ubiza Matamati since my childhood, Phillies games, So today, I think I'm one of the viewers who are watching here who get to know what you put on about it.
Sister.
Great.
Awesome.
So now let's get into it. I only know you as Ubiza Madama. Who is Ubiza Madama? I can see him you're with us here. We're giving Roses as a Tembisa there. I guess now we like us, like us.
Biza Kintania for letting come to you. And then you cast. Kelezite Kobjelo via School of Excellence. That's all where it started. Yeah.
And then to the School of Excellence, I mean, you make it sound as if naturally football was in your brain. Were there any other aspirations before football? No, Sabatubal police or something?
Next. Kekulela mo bolo all along. Majita channel bo makasin pafu, Kelvin Mklong, Raida Mufuke, Moz Macarena. Those were the guys that I was looking up to. Yeah.
And then football from back then wasn't something that parents, even up to now, it's not something that our parents would really put their support behind, especially for Lintaninyane. It's growing up, there's school to be considered, there's more goals, something to fall back on. So support Nelly Jang were they behind you in terms of going into football and making a career?
Too much, man. Too much, I won't lie. Fede, my late father, Nesim Chapo, Nasa Lalipo. But I never struggled with the soccer boots or soccer ball. My late sister, she was always there. Go gaming from childhood. I even played go Kempton Park. They supporting me why. So the support was extremely powerful from them.
And then now, School of Excellence. I mean, up to now, but then cracking into the School of Excellence, it was quite a task even up to now. So now can
it was a tough one, man. I don't want to lie. Yeah. We had a center, more Tembisa, of which local Soweto Alexander, they had a center. Coach Temba Ngweni was the head of the center. Local Chabun Chanye, local Brass Beach, the late Brass Beach. So, as you know, School of Excellence Kitty Tracks, I think we were about 5,000 to 10,000. About 1994, 95. I only played for 5 minutes. I was crying blind. So the coaches asked, they put me in for 10 minutes, they took me out, but I know Sbonil is enough, he's taking me.
Yeah.
That's how lucky I was.
Yeah. The journey started from then on.
Yeah.
And then now, School of Excellence, trials, success. What's the first team you played for? How was the response to the community that you were living in? For you also as an aspirating or an aspirational footballer who can go ground.
In fact, let me say I was fortunate to be one of the first players that Tembisa at the School of Excellence. We had the guy Thomas Ngwane. We had a guy, I forgot his surname, Wire. We were only 3, but one Mukas. So I was fortunate. And then, by that time, 98, 97, so forth, the big team was Tembisa Classic. Yeah. So, Jomo Cosmos, they showed interest. Ajax, Cape Town, they showed interest. I wanted to be part and parcel, Tembisa. You understand? That's why I chose Tembisa Classic. I think I was 18 when I first signed my PSL contract. Yeah.
And then now you're into Tembisa Classic. The first season, how was it? Because when I read more about you, you were not like you won the young player of the season with the team.
It was a difficult one, my man, because of the season that I joined Classic, or I signed with Tembisa Classic. That was the season that we got relegated. So it was tough season. Kiatoma, 18 years, Kiatoma Dlala PSL, you know. So it wasn't an easy ride go PSL.
And then now, back then, like for me, even looking up to now, like the finances in terms of the players, were there incentives one kind or another? Was there remuneration? Like how was it in terms of like the career side of it? Like I'm playing football, making money out of it. I have to advance in my career.
Look, in fact, new game, although you have to fit it's only span. You understand? So for Tembisa Classic, the man that I got, ne pidisa batho ba kontlo, and then you understand more about the family.
Hello guys.
It was enough.
It
It was enough. It was enough.
Yeah.
It was enough. Oh, no kono carry side in Tuanataka, to kono buy a grocer, Kisalaka change Chimona. So 18 years, it was a decent enough money. I understand. Unfortunately, it's all right for PSL. And then you know life go without PSL, you know it was difficult. But the man that I got go Classic, it was enough. Yeah.
And then now, from me, like the impact you had go grounding, particularly in the Phillies games, because that's where I came to know you from. Like you were the Shoeshine King. And then when you check Bosquam, I know they're also the Shoeshine Kings, but when they made it into top flight football, they weren't as impactful as we knew them when it came to these tournaments. What were your experiences and the challenges for South African top flight football, especially as Biza Matamati, the one who have ball, or like the crowd screams and they like push you to do stuff?
I have to be careful on this one. You know? Me being at the School of Excellence, it was a huge advantage for me because of the dribbling that we were taught. It was not just the dribbling for Ubiza pair. We are dribbler, we are creator, we are God. So, labo ba busy le manje. Do they score? Do they create?
Exactly.
So, are they playing for themselves, for the team, or for the fans? Who's paying the money to come and watch him? The fans. So, the fans, they don't care whether the team is winning, as long as you're dribbling. So there's a huge difference from a player like Luxin, the player like School of Excellence. Beguma Pe, Beguma Fuke, Abuyak, School of Excellence, Injani dribbling up. You understand? So there's a huge difference, the School of Excellence compared. Hence I said I was lucky enough to be in the hands of Coach Mandla Mazibogo, Coach James Mapena, Coach Sam Mbata, Coach Kelvin, Coach Ted Dumitru. You can understand the background of development, the background of so-called Kasi football with flair moving forward. Gune skill, gune flair.
Exactly.
Gune mehluko lapho. Kuthi umuntu ulishaya ngedolo, amile bathi lay blind. Sifuna ukushaya idolo, uqeda umuntu uyaphambili or umile. Two different things.
So basically what I'm getting here is that the School of like had a great impact on you as a player. What were other lessons that you got from the School of that have to do with the aspects outside of the field?
In fact, you know, School of Excellence, it was not only about football. Hence, I can say I enjoyed my football, the School of Excellence, more than anywhere. Because of Lapana, they teach you discipline, they teach you how to conduct yourself, they teach you how to play, they teach you how to talk to my elders. So it was not only about football.
Yeah.
Well, I understand. We learn those things through football. Lapana, I have no feeling like I can't go express what impact it made in my life. Not only in football, but as a person, as a human being.
Now, you're going into Mamelodi Sundowns. That's like pinnacle of every other footballer in South Africa, whether you at Chiefs, whether it's Super Sport, whether you're at Orlando Pirates. You're now joining Sundowns. I mean, you're from the back of the NFT, obviously, the classic. Kontu, was Chabe, to you as Biza Matamat, what did that mean for you? How was the experience going into Sundowns? Who was the coach at the time?
Nele Gordon Niggasen.
Yeah.
I mean, now, I cannot say me in Kenny Show. I was already known Mokas. Okay? I wanted Imzantingas. Unfortunately, Zintazang Zahambe, the way I was expecting.
Yeah.
But I never changed. Being pillar the way being pillar accord. Hence, now today I'm not even scared because of I owe nobody any explanation, and then I'm not scared and stuff because of I've never changed. In such a way being accord. And then it goes back to Nkulise Ganjan, a school of excellence. Nkulise Ganjan, Inli. So things happen. I don't feel bad. Things happen for a reason. I don't feel bad. I don't feel ashamed. I still walk tall in the streets of Tembis.
And then it's okay.
The most interesting part that I find, I will say, you even went to New York.
Yeah.
To a school of excellence, and I find like a lot of difference between isoccer edlala like high and like
Yeah.
So I want to know ukuthi like yini into oyifundile umuya laphayana in New York, and the style of play abayidlalayo compared to what we play la.
In New York, you know, USA is not a football country, but we played against a team abuya Bolivia, abuya Brazil, abuya I think a Turkey if I'm not mistaken. And then if you can check Brazil, need development. You can check Bolivia, need development. They have a top-notch development. So those guys, they were acting more professional than any other teams. You understand? So Lama trip now we see what happened school. They was prepared. Hence you can see manje a 17-year or 18-year-old from School of Excellence. It's easy for him to play with PSL because of they've been prepared way before. So we learned this in Disney because of you can be surprised, bro. Before Sejalane Tahiti from Bolivia, those guys we were studying with Sijal, we were studying with Jimaganja. You can imagine. Yes, like we were in a camp. What are we eating? So I'm nutrition. I knew them long before. You understand how you train, how you conduct yourself. So manje, it's open. You can get it on your fingers, Google it. But Escolen, they were ahead of the times that we live in, man. So it's not a surprise for me. And then it's unfortunate with even some top footballers at school never made it to the highest level, which I felt with it in Zanzibar.
Yeah. And then what do you think made those guys to reach that level? Because I mean, as you say, the School of Excellence basically conditions you mentally, physically to be prepared for the game. I mean, it takes you abroad, John Bashiru, so you guys went to New York, and coming back to New York, we'll come back there because I heard with you, Mongara, you also watching Accolade. But let's deal with the part of those guys who you say it was very unfortunate for them, which they were big, the School of, but they could not make it to South African top platform.
Jayam, Ebola life. We all want good things, but Azizi the way is phenomenal. You understand? I cannot pinpoint which you understand. So what happened. You understand? I'm not here to judge anybody, but somehow I felt that this guy deserved to be seen Mzanzi.
Now let's go back to the New York part. I mean, how was the stay in Ngara? I mean, you guys were studied by other teams, and the play for you. I mean, you got an accolade for Ngara in New York. How was that feeling for you as a player coming back also into South Africa?
Yes, Moses Kela, or I think the man is a corner that we never saw ourselves playing with PSL. We're seeing ourselves playing abroad. But the more you grow, the more you see, ukuthi life is easy the way ufuna ngakhona. You have to adjust. You understand? I mean, we had players like Masilo Mudubi, which he played for Chelsea. He's staying in Belgium for about 20 years now. That was the dream that we were having. We had about Steven Pinal. You understand? That was the dream. I chance. But as you grow, isn't as in the way of you understand? But for them being there, they represent us. You understand? If we want nabo Template, Tsepumashishi, Dylan Shepherd, you are not there, but for them being there, they represent. You understand? Sure.
You wanna ask something, Sunji?
Like he has so many accolades.
Yeah, so many accolades, exactly. Yeah, and so much to tell.
Yeah. What I want to get into is, like guys, we don't have something like the School of Excellence, and a lot of young kids banging into drugs and all those kind of things because there's no sports. Like sports are secret at all. So what can we do? Ubusisi zame develop like guys when it comes to soccer as well.
Sports score. I think we like a commitment. Not only sports. Manje, more especially as a youth. I think lack of commitment, too many things to do. I don't think in sports are like. Maybe the facilities not so good, but they can be better. Yeah, I understand. They can be better, but lack of commitment.
Because they really don't focus with sports, especially the golos in the move. Multiracial schools. Like township schools, they mean like there was nothing. Being on a team, a team as a seven, tournament, so like there's nothing like that.
Things are really aging much. Because before Tinama school, we had a Chepis Little League, we had a Super C, we had KFC. Those were the school tournaments, which is more than Lipola. On a lot of schooling, but not on a Wednesday. Wednesday, Langa Lepo. Ulofaganja school and Langa Lepo. So, isn't there a change? Maybe see old fashioned, we are one. But I think lack of commitment, dedication, personal, I think Abana
yeah. And then this commitment, I mean, I get part of it comes from the youth itself. But I mean, and I don't want to come across as someone typical of the cast. But do you think, Uguchi, is there a role that, I mean, government can play in terms of development? Because you spoke of how countries like Bolivia had like top-notch development for the guys at Wasaku. Do you think Uguchi government has a role to play in terms of like developing this, particularly school sports? I mean, I remember 2-3 years ago, Department of Sports and Agriculture had this plan of reviving school sports, and not just in soccer only, but in terms of netball and all these other sports. It's not Dumanga like us, but then government, being South African government, learned to and up to now nothing has really sufficed. Do you think Uguchi government has a role to play, and also a private sector? I mean, Abu Super C are companies, multinational companies that practice in South Africa, KFC, and also HPs, and those things have now like gone a move in terms of like bringing a development into play, particularly because as she said, I mean, in multiracial schools you're forced to do Chunamama extramural activities, you know, and it's part of your score for a grade. So do you think Uguchi, private sector and the government have a role to play in terms of like getting this commitment to the youth? Because I mean, but if there's no platform for me to like showcase what I'm about, and even low platforming touching to another pedestal in terms of career development, and then obviously the passion within me will subside.
Truly speaking, the government in the role my private sector now, because of Ugrani School of Excellence is not the child's play. You understand? And then the government through school, it's easy to control. English. Whether I was a lupo or land, but as long as my activities as a school, you understand? it's easy to have a encouragement go. And then my sugar government, ama LFA or ama association, whether netball, hockey and stuff. It's easy to get ama quality players. I once coached to go St. Peter's College. Structures are called say rugby, say hockey, water polo. It's easy for them to go up because of babu proper structure. But if like kasi what's the motivation? You understand? But if association or school federation, whatever it is, we're gonna select about 20 or 25 players. So sugalana sodlala na team Springs. Masuke Springs kuwe Durban. You see ukuthi kunani? It's traveling kunani ngaphakathi. Kune discipline, kunokuthi touring around. You can believe ukuthi kunomntwana manje wana 18 has never been to Durban. But through sport you can go to places less when you go so everybody must play his role, whether it's your government, it's the community, because we cannot force you to do sport.
And then now let's speak about the community. The community, well, in rhetoric, we want to take things as Andrew said. We want to like be the shapers of our own destiny in terms of like the crime, drug usage and substance abuses and but we don't really push to such an extent that those things actually come to suffice. You understand? And now speaking of development, I mean, part of the reason why my facilities which are not up to par compared to Sundowns is that the government comes, they build the infrastructure provided to us and then say to us, hey, you look after it. But a couple of days after, you'll find it's been vandalized, Jonchi Wamapali and such things. Do you think we as the community are the biggest players in terms of not having development come into it? Even outside of the sports, I mean, look at our street posts that were put here, LED. I mean, government spent a lot, millions and millions, particularly municipal government, spent a lot on those. But now, our Sekama LEDs, it's only these ones, like Kule Akon, I like the gas. So do you think we are also the biggest factor in terms of not having development come into the gas?
It's in the biggest of. Let me say, I have a kid, right? I'm done a lot of grounding. If you got this, do you want to tell me what you umphakathi ungamosha bayazi ukuthi yimi engadile lapha?
It's not simple.
So if sibeka na ipark la kuspana abantu abahlala around la makune strike, do you think ukuthi bazoshisa labantu labantu? Because of mashisa lapha sikawatha bobani people that are within our community. So it's food for thought. Okay, do you want to tell me manje abantu abamosha ama light asibazi?
Siyabazi. Exactly.
You understand? So everybody must pull his socks up. Everybody must check around. If you are mosha le park lane, you are mosha le ground lane, ki wana man lo dlala mo. So everybody fanele adlale role yakhe. You understand? Yes, it's easy to blame the government. Government. Don't we know abantu abamoshayo? We know them. You understand? I rubber suit moshegile today. Kibo mamba baba isinze in rubber suit. That's wrong. Who's struggling? Who's struggling manje ukubhatala? But if we put people abahlala endulwini, abahlala esithama, abahlala edifateng ukuthi bagade lapha, uyomshaya kanjani lo muntu loyana? Because uyazi ukuthi uyakwazi. Umakhelwane. Uyabona? So even now we trying to build or to renovate imhlari whereby sifuna abantu abahlala around ngeThembazwane Foundation, abahlala around basipane lapha. Even if kuba ne flop umuntu osetiano timo mtheo ngumuthi bazomosha kanjani abantu lapha because of it's within it's our facility. You understand? But if you get somebody angahlali lana yasimazi nokumazi but siyazi ukuthi ubani usipana lapha. So if you are mosha umosha laba umosha lo ilento building or umosha nalo umuntu lana isipana. So it's a two-way street. For my opinion.
You just touched on Temazani Foundation and ngiyabona usifake nesikipa sakhona.
Sure.
Also George Maluleke Foundation. Like us, right?
Yes.
So please tell us in depth ukuthi iThembazwane Foundation and George Maluleke Foundation, what is that all about?
The foundation stay true, but with same vision,
Yeah.
same pillars. We're helping with poverty, education, sport, and in general helping the community. But so far we don't have much funds to do that. But we try. That's corner. You understand? So because of struggling, say what? Yes, they are top players, but they are from the same struggle. So we wanna bring that to make Intwanaze to believe, which irrespective of which uhlala eMadela Wofa, uhlala eIvory, uhlala eDifateng, uhlala Gopi, you can still make it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it's more of like plowing back to the community.
Yeah.
But now, how genuine is plowing back from the community, particularly from these guys, Abasebada, of course. I mean, there was a conversation we had a couple of days ago in terms of like getting people to plow back into the community. You know, sometimes it's behind the fact of compliance and tax evasion, whereby I'll come spend so much money, gas, and then I get my grade 16 or grade 19 certificate, and then I know good for that financial year, a grade gained was a tax. And how important is it in terms of coming back once you've made it there, and then bring the ladder down to say, this is the bit I can do to try and get Abantabaso to come to where I am.
Can I be brutally honest? Tina Botaki stand I'm a free gift. So how do we help Umutangas? Do I give you or do I teach you how to get? You understand? So people, they have this mind. How George Maluleke uneman, uThembazwane uneman. 2 years down the road, akasadlali. Yeah, bekaqanga ukuthi uzophelela. Hence I said, a foundation ayina mali. But we wanna help abantu nabo help. We meet them halfway. I don't free gift. Hayi, ngicela ama-cox. Ufuna ama-cox ukuthi uzozula ngawe elokishini. Awuye granu, uyayisapha ama-cox.
Actually valela nabanye ekumele
Yeah, I understand. So it's a two-way street. We wanna help those who are trying. You understand? We struggle till about that. But if we come every month, what pushes you
to go and get it closer for yourself? It's what I usually say in my clients. They're not
it's a two-way street. Which you giving back. We are not giving back. We're helping where we can. We're helping where we can. But it's not a must. We don't have money. We don't have funds. You understand? We'll help where we can. One another. So there's a standard. I'm a free gifts without even working. We bonilo when I know my name.
Exactly. Yeah.
We bonilo.
Independent, like
We bonilo when I know my name. Yeah, we bonilo when I know my name. I can't have female muntulo. He's got kids that funnel about cool.
Yeah.
So mama sang mali. Yeah, so those are the challenges that we face. Those are the things that we're trying to push into Anazetu. Through football, football can change somebody's life. But if when are we born, it becomes even difficult.
And then now let's speak about your role within these foundations. I mean, we are going to to push wherever they can, try and get Taban to develop. And from where you are in your role within these foundations, how difficult is it to have a foundation work like us?
Amajita. And then mutu una little difficult bahai. So when you work with Amajita, people they think I value a whole lot. I value young understand, and then Amajita they have their own needs and own things to do. Young told. And then they are going out of their way to see which a foundation era. Those are the smaller challenges that we have. But if we can have more power, it can be easy and then it can be done in a sense of which Amajita push.
Yeah. And then you wanna come into?
Yes, I want us to touch on a subject, coaching, and how important it is. A guys also. I think I asked you this question. What is your role etimini? Are you there to just control and be like, oh, when or are you there to also be a father figure to the boys and have like a relationship with them as well?
Yes, you coach. You don't just sleep and wake up with you and coach. If winter, everybody can coach. Yeah, wow, you understand. To be a coach, you need to have that bond with your players. You need to understand our players wako anja. Our players wako, they need to understand what do you expect from board. Uguti team ya Iran. If you can get that, ingajela. And then I'm not talking about 5-6 players. I'm talking about 25 players, of which it's difficult because of you're dealing with different characters. You understand? We never understand the fast, we never understand the slow, we never more shy. You understand? But you have to combine them to make them one. If we can check, I'm a team blind. Teamwork, it's amazing. You understand? For example, Sundowns, they are not winning because of Bayazat. The understanding, if we are player understanding, training. You understand? So if players don't come to training, how are you gonna get that understanding? Whereby you have 10 players, on Wednesday you have 15 players, Thursday you have 30 players. So understanding are equal. So you have to understand ukuthi abantwana bakho kanjani makune problem sisolve kanjani.
And you mentioned in the coaching and how it's not an overnight thing. In practice within the journalism side. And kwama coaches well like us, I think for them it's become more difficult to manage because you have Indwanengane, they want to play football, but there's no oversight from another side. Whereby you find out that coaches themselves now have free reign for players. I mean, there's a scandal around Ngara, a straight line whereby the coach molesting Indwanengane because of no oversight from our side. Do you think, Uguchi, going back to the question of us as a community coming into play whenever we see isn't this a development taking part, do you think, Uguchi, it's necessary for our coaches to establish relationships? And if yes, how do we maintain that relationship so that it works for us? Uguchi, Magagim as a coach, we are span. Magasendli as Umtuan, we effective.
It's important. I want to support the important blind. If recovery is tough in the crowd, Tintana design, or one of the parents that want to take a title name to Russian. Not even 5. They are going or 1 hour to a same time. That 1 hour we are go ground on Shavelantana Havizala. Mputori Yeta Montane. Do you want to disappoint your mom? You want to disappoint your father? You want to disappoint your uncle? I'm on today I was a long grand man. I was excited. You understand what you channel go. You understand? And then if we time we let into another game. Na sending you wanna tell me to so because of Magasuga Gue Uzagin. Unlike Usuga Gue endlini, we are strategy. Do you know what change and strategy? So it becomes easy. Say helper. Good is not it's not alone. Lono about Montonja and the community even better. So you wanna tell me what the time I'm not it. I also played a role. Because of if Usuga school and was grounded, irresponsibility will I allow my player to misbehave? More time will you allow your boy to misbehave? So we are one to have a common ground. But if when we time out into an exact ground in which I in, you understand. So it's a two-way street. Sahelpan, Uguti community to Benjan, it's great. If Asuga school and as a Poland, who's over Munta Mosha, my street lights, who's over Munta Pema, La Pana light, La Pane Pagin. So you are one which is in a into it to we use. But if Magasugendin was good to you, we are one with the problem in Calabar. Naibana died in Calabar. Pella, even now, if you can check, we get a 17, 15-year-old boy smoking. Which one of them? No reason.
Yeah, there actually is a reason.
There's no reason. But if Asuga is calling a polo, it's cut up by my squad. makasuke ebholweni uyendlini
Endlini straight.
akukho late. So if he doesn't go to football or whatever activity that he does from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock wenzani or 8 o'clock wenzani ngaleyo period.
And then this coaching thing is very vast, and it's something that most former players go into. As Ubiza, are you having any aspirations to become a coach, starting your own team? You have a very, very big cache of knowledge to impart to these young players. Are there aspirations of I mean, taking into consideration your participation within these two foundations as an DESCIPLINE?
In fact, if you see about Lebo Manyama getting called to Captain City, it's an inspiration. You understand? About Maslomu Dubi staying in Europe for 18 years, it's an inspiration. About Dentley, it's an inspiration. We're not all gonna coach good PSL. If we all want to coach good PSL, who will develop these young players?
Yeah.
You understand? If there's in a structure, it's a grand, the some will coach PSL, some will stay development. If you see Jerry Shabalala doing so well, go Sundowns, ladies, it's an inspiration. They grew up, you understand? So I get inspired by smaller things, you understand? And then I clap hands, I ask, man, Jerry, how do you do it? You understand? Tsepo Madida, how do you do it? You understand? So inspiration, it's up to an individual which ufuna ukuyenzani ufuna uthatha yipi ufuna ukuyeka yipi yayibona that day. But we cannot all coach at a higher level or go PSA. We also need our coaches, well developed coaches baspan nentwa.
I feel coaching has a lot of pressure, man. It has a lot of pressure because it's immediately coach. Like I don't understand how that works.
Yeah, go higher level. It's all about our results. But good development, I must see to it within Tuana Yagwazu trap, Yagwazu pass. He understands when to dribble, when not to dribble. Yeah, so we can blame coach go PSL, whereas our players azanga wathola ari. Because lapana sokufuneka ama result. But go entwanin. Okay. We play to win, but let's focus. How do we win? With Masaka Amtala, he knows which I must play well in order to win.
And then now, Jenga coaching, I mean, mention a big part. And then it's very cheap, and you see which gets around. Do you think, from your perspective as someone who is who understands, the problem is it with players? Is it with management? Exactly, because in Funuguyanara, I mean, check about team of Falana Bochipa. I mean, chopping and changing about coach. How difficult is it for a team to be competitive with national football if this is a choppers change my team, I'm a coaches rather. You find we having to graduate into the top flight, but then as Dali, we sign players now our Dali. So what's the problem?
Do we have a structure? If we have a structure, it becomes easy. Structure, I don't mean with it. Yeah, finally settle so, but it's Jima so. Structure is finally landed. Hence, we having under 10, under 12, under 17, under 19. Slandela in structure. It is so easy for us or for the team to promote into it. How many teams do they promote into as we are with DTC? How many players? As a first lineup.
Exactly.
So it means somehow something is not working. We can, yes, we may have a development on paper, but do we practice that now? Do we have in Tuana about 7 or 6 as it is we are good TTC that are our first team? So is it our TTC ready now? That's another question. Yes, for TV. Grants as one into another Sakuta, but are they ready to play with PSL now? Right. So the structure a team, some is a learner, and they say development now. Right. Key question. So are you gonna blame the coach? Pelapana was fine time. It's final results man. Good is Lara Gancha, a full team, as long as we need. Yeah. Not he wanted my hamby coach. He's a hamby coach, Salabovan.
Yes.
So you flop you go to that. Yeah, you want.
But we choose such
angazi bro
no uchinja abo change team
Angeke ngishintshe, angeke ngishintshe.
come here come this
That's the least part of the team I support. So now, as I've been siringile nge top flight football, siringile nge development. But I think the key has been on ama art. From where you standing, it development ye women football. Let's just sing at women sports football. Women football. Is there a future for women football in South Africa? I mean, economy league, yes, but when you check, that's my point. Economy league, this moment, but it's very few people about you know, and even I mean the broadcaster, national broadcaster, it's like I'm a mesh if I want to content about certain days. Abafagi as much support as they do. I mean, if so was good to see broadcaster ichimefana na Mazulu nepulukwane city month end, what's stopping us from putting in the mesh that maybe let's say Bloemfontein Celtic and the Mamelodi Sundowns women? So do you think Uguchi is there a future for women football in South Africa to be at the same par as men's football, particularly with Premier League?
Slowly but surely women's football is growing. Yakuna, blind. Yakuna. And then if you don't have a cooperative laws or fagging you, government fagging you, but you are now, it's growing. Yeah. It's growing. You understand? So I'm not taking Naxas and we'll get the Sundowns in the tax. There's a girl like us who the tax. So I'm going there to watch her and support her. No, not Shabalala as my friend. I'm going there to support him also. Yeah. So women's football is growing. It's growing. Cool.
And then the parity in terms of the imal. I mean, speaking of I'm corporates who are not putting in imal. Iba demoralize Abanja. Women, particularly young women who want to go into football, and also the development side of it. I mean, there are very few teams, if none, that I know of, that provide a platform for women to play football. I'm a team, Wabuche, Ajalayo, who are competitive, who go amongst global stages to try and compete so that they bring the women's football into the
world. From 0 to 100. That's not possible, but gradually it's growing. It will get there, but it won't start from 0 to 200, but gradually it's growing. You understand? So it will take time, but it's getting there. Yeah.
All right, let's go back to Upiza. No, if you were to impart advice, let's not say to young aspiring players, just advice to youth as a class, particularly Timbis, of course. Our youth thinking in our child. We have this huge supply of amatraks, the cars, and when you check now, I mean, Chinamasaka Leza, Bokalupema around grade level, grade 12. We were old then. No, 21 is young as high school. Yapema and Mount Yapera, Intepema Yasim, but your cat, Abu Cristali. I mean, it's always just the least. I mean, it's always so name basically. In this Buma Serious, are you Crystal, are you Cat? So, as Upiza and your experience in life and the impact that you had, the Kasi, and the impact the Kasi been now, if you had to give advice to the internet, what would you say?
Stay true to yourself. You get into trouble. I had plenty of friends. Some are second family, some are fashagiwe because of the Bahama Momoa. So I knew what you be some funani. If in tongue funani fun, you understand? So if in tongue I know we are because of Funukbon, then I was over HIV. And Namaja, you understand? I was a con with cousin, and my cousin is a child of one. So you wanna Baba Asana Wanaka, I funny me. You understand? So they must just stay true to themselves. Pangahamu more. Pangalandeli Kasife, Mifema, like you disappoint, other than putting you into trouble. And then Ange Gusas is Katifu family.
And what's working for you right now? Bizingano, I mean, part of isn't the business, you know, it's this foundation. And the other things was Pusha, you know.
Foundation, Spana Nini Altiamo, Collegile, good destroyers, very, very talented coach, Kasi. And small and projects based on football wise, yeah. So he's the amazing business.
Some destroyers is it a football team in Zalava? Which league are you guys in?
Destroyers could be established manje. Sadala go LFA ya la ekas. So ukhole ukhole udiba.
Yeah.
Uwanya majita lawa anesandla intwaneni. So we wish nathi sikhuphuke nalentwana lezethu sidlale higher level.
Coming in coach.
Uthela ukuvuthile namhlanje.
Yeah, there's a lot, man. There's something is totally from the conversation we had. You understand?
Sure.
And in closing, in terms we understand where are we as ICAS right now? I mean, Spale development, the community must also take part. Where are we as ICAS right now? Is there a future for us like us in taking into account what you're doing, Nabu Destroyers, and going forward? Where are we as ICAS in terms of developing ICAS and making it great?
Uthemba no George angeke bayenze next kungana help la location. Yeah, understand. Fanele ukulungisa izinto ezibhala yabona. I-motivation yabo Themba no George. It's just a motivation. Yabona that if you check manje, intwana zethu they are so much into tournaments more than league. Ama tournament in 2 weeks, 1 week. After lapho kwenzakalani? Where are they going? Ama players wethu they must they must. I'm a player with something babon. But the tournament is getting them nowhere. Why? But it's nice to play for these games. Musesha, Puti, but after my pela, we happy. No, next year foot. So
the consistency
angeke be khona. So it's a huge challenge for la ekas. Not only uGeorge or uThemba or uSkhumba or uShimza. In fact, finally it's pushing so. Yeah, Spamsan because of Bona alone. I don't know what they tune out. Why one that English?
And then, as it's usually done on my podcast, there are games that I play at the end of the and the popular one now is One Must Go.
One must go.
Yeah. So there's 3 that I have in mind.
Yeah.
Who must go? Andile Charlie Chambers.
Le obvious.
If it's as simple, I mean, first chap. Who must go? Chambers one or Kachus? And why?
Yeah, and why?
Yamazushika.
So Kachus must go.
I'm not going to miss up.
Yeah, you must say.
I must left already.
And then EPL or PSL?
None of the above.
Why?
EPL, it's more of physique. It's more of a product that was with things, but I don't like what I'm watching.
Yeah, but I mean, if first half year EPL in there and first half year PSL puma my chair or I chop.
True.
Yeah.
In a sense, I'm a players which like us, they're struggling in basic. Labana, in terms of basic, they're ahead than team. But it is I feel, I'm not saying they're not thinking. Certain tip like Manji Brighton, I don't mind sitting at home watching it Brighton. I don't mind sitting at home watching Manchester City because of United. Like it thinks go La Liga. I can watch even if ngingabazi amagama wabo because of they play more into lesidlalayo la ekhasi ukuthi asijaha ukuthi bavalile sizofika lapha so EPL akuchayisana lapha akukhali manje for mina none of the above yeah.
And then lastly bafana or banyana
both.
Abafana must go.
Bafana
must
Sorry.
go.
I mean, look at my accomplishments. Look at my accomplishments. Bafana compared to
banyana singancenga eArgentina ngabanyana. Do you think ukuthi singancenga eArgentina ngamajita?
Sipilo ikambe.
So i-competition yabo cherry namajita ayifani. So both of them fit bayazama. So Mzansi forever mfethu. Yeah.
Siyabonga Njaya to come and join us. And it's been a very enlightening conversation that we've had. To those watching, come and get your merch. It's 195 Brian Masibugo. Fresh teas now. Come in. There's the shop there.
But mina ngithola stuff yabo set up le.
Behind the cameras, the merch is very affordable. Come in, guys. You can see on the background, it's here. There's even more stuff as corner. So make sure that you come in. Check us out on all our socials and subscribe. Make sure you turn the notification bell so that you know whenever we post a new upload. The Native Touch, Bizori Mosoch.
Bye. Thank you. Yeah.